I think it was when my dad passing away in, was it 98, was the final sort of kick up the backside I needed to. I've done nearly 12 years now in the army. I need to actually not think about going flying. I need to actually do it and apply myself. But the problem is with applying to be a helicopter pilot, you've got, within the army, you've got lots of people wanting to do that job. So for every sort of 400 people that have applied for the course, probably only 16 would make it to an actual pilot's course, of which 12 will probably finish. And I saw quite a few really switched on people back in the House of Cavalry and Blues and Royals and Lifeguards that had failed at various points down the line. And some of them had done 6 months of flying and had failed. And I was like, well, have I really got it in me? And you don't really know until you've probably given it a try. So finally managed to sort myself out and get applied onto a pilot's course and passed the selection processes and was loaded up in early 2000. And we had foot and mouth and hit the pilot's course problems, and then there was issues with a Lynx helicopter at the time, and then there was issues with the quality of pilot coming through the training system. So they suddenly started raising the bar quite a bit higher, so they were getting rid of lots of people. So it was all this was going on whilst you're just trying to focus on your course. And it's very little, it's hard to describe it, but you're on a course away from your normal family regiment that you're used to, and you're only ever a week away from failing and being back at your regiment. So you can go in on a Monday afternoon, have a flight, and it not go right, and then Tuesday morning you fail that flight. Tuesday you have a retest. If you fail that one, then you have a couple of training trips, and then before you know it, by sort of Thursday afternoon, Friday morning, they said, yeah, we'll chop you and get rid of you. And then potentially you've got hundreds more pilots or potential pilots coming up behind you that want your slot, so they don't care. They're just like, off you go. So you've always got that in the back of your mind. There's quite a lot of sort of ground school exams and things which I struggled with, but I got through somehow. But you can't really prepare, or you can't really do anything about the fact that you're sat in a helicopter with an instructor next to you, and he will be switching off, or she will be switching off things all the way through, and you just have to cope with it and deal with it and not look too far forward, but just have short-term goals all the way through, because if you look at the end goal, you're never going to make it. We started on little fixed-wing planes and did 50 hours of flying fixed-wing, and you could really enjoy that if you had the foresight to know that this is fine, this is just training, and you shouldn't really fail that bit, but because they let you go off for like an hour on your own, but you were very focused and stuff. But that was a really good lesson of learning the skills and the basics without the complications of flying a helicopter, because a helicopter is a lot harder than a plane. But once you've done your 50 hours, then you go on to little helicopters, and you do about 120 hours on those initially, in different phases, and that's where you look for your short-term goals, get to the next goal, and then you start the military side, and then you start adding instrument flying and night flying, before you then finally, if you're good enough, you get your wings and graduate as a military pilot, but then you go on to a proper military helicopter, and that's quite complicated and different because there's other things to think about with weapon systems and stuff. So it all kind of takes a long time. It's a good 2.5 years of constantly learning and being assessed.
So a lot of investment in those pilots.
Yeah, a huge amount. And then you don't have a license or anything. It's just you're just a military pilot qualified on that particular type, and then you're just building experience, and that's what you have to do. And some people, there was Northern Ireland going on, and Germany at the time, and then just after I graduated, within a year, 9/11 kicked off, and then the world was very different, and suddenly there was a lot of demand for helicopters. So in the short spate of time, I managed to get a huge amount of experience day and night in nasty conditions, so that really helped. And I had the end goal of leaving at the pension point at 40, with 2,000 hours of flying, which then meant I could then convert my military licence to a civilian one fairly easy. Still had to do 3 exams, but I've got the experience, and therefore hopefully with the experience and the licence, then you can at least get an interview for a job. But sometimes at the moment there's not a huge amount of flying, so you really struggle to get your 2,000 hours, which is kind of what you need for commercial jobs.